This episode of Jaffa Kree is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes or more can save you 15% on car insurance. To get your quote or report roadside incident, please visit www.geico.com. And also by Audible, offering more than a dozen audiobooks for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. To get your free audiobook, please visit www.audible.com. If you would like to be a guest on an upcoming episode of Jaffa Kree, direct message me on Twitter at Podcast Stargate, or contact me on Skype at StargatePodcastNetwork@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Christopher Judge.
What the hell does Kree mean?
Viewers will tune in for the hook, but they stay for the characters.
And here's your action figure. What?
It was very shocking, in your face. Even I was like, wow.
All I was interested in was who was the guy that was playing Tim.
They could find anything and make it into something alien. I mean, they're geniuses.
He came in and said to me, "You're revealing too much too soon. Hold back."
Where's Gary?
Saved money on motorcycle insurance with Geico. Going up the country. Later, Gary.
I have a motorcycle. Wonderful.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides. This woman is laughing because she's listening to a hilarious audiobook on Audible. And this woman is laughing because she's pretending her boss's terrible story is funny. Experience the comedy, not your commute. Go to audible.com to start your free 30-day trial today.
I can save these people! Help me!
Many have said that. But you are the first I believe could do it.
General Hammond, this is Teal'c. He can help us.
You know what he is?
Yes, sir, I do. He's the man who saved our lives. And if you accept my recommendation, sir, you'll join us.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?
Colonel, something wrong?
Oh, yeah. Something.
2 weeks ago, SG-50...
We've done this. We do this every day. I'm not talking about briefings in general, Daniel. I'm talking about this briefing. I'm talking about this day.
Colonel O'Neill is correct. Events do appear to be repeating themselves.
Since when? Since we went to P4X639.
We haven't been to P4X639.
Yes, we have. No, we haven't. That's what you were going to say.
Of course that's what I was going to say.
Hey guys, welcome to the 10th episode of Jaffa. Wow. We are already on the 10th episode. When I first began doing Jaffa, it was back around maybe September 13th or something like that. I can't remember now. But anyways, welcome to the 10th episode anniversary special, you can call it. I'm your host, Seth Daniel Stewart. And for the special episode tonight, I am going to be doing a commentary of a special Stargate SG-1 episode called Window of Opportunity. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this takes place in the 4th season. So yeah, in this episode I'm going to be doing a hour-long commentary, Previously on Stargate SG-1, I talked about the armbands in the episode Upgrades, and I talked about the mission objectives and the plot and stuff like that. So anyways, that was in Jaffa episode 2. So the episode starts off with a routine mission, like always, to a planet called P4X639, where they meet up with a alien archaeologist who was operating a ancient device, and he has his own motives. And basically, the person who is operating the ancient device, and I can't even pronounce his name. I think I can pronounce his name, Malachi. I think that's how I pronounce his name, I'm not sure. So anyways, he is causing a time loop, and basically Jack and Teal'c are both trying to stop the machine, and they are trying to do that, and they are trapped in a time loop, and the time loop causes the two to return to the planet to stop it. So then, when the time loop was successful, Jack O'Neill at breakfast with Sam and Daniel, and the mission keeps on repeating over and over again. And basically, O'Neill is at breakfast. He is eating his favorite breakfast, Fruit Loops, and Daniel is asking him, anyways, I'm sorry, but this is how I feel about it. What do you think? And O'Neill, he's confused, and they ask O'Neill if he's okay, and they say no, and and O'Neill asks Daniel if he was on another planet, which was P4X639, and the others say no, and they tell O'Neill that they're gonna be late for the mission briefing on P4X639. And actually, SG-1 is not the first team to visit P4X639. SG-15 visited the planet 2 weeks earlier. They were basically trying to measure the solar activity, and Teal'c and O'Neill both observed that, and they set up a remote observatory, which according to them, they just been doing that already. So then, after the others get suspicious about O'Neill and Teal'c, they are both inspected by Janet Fraser, and while they relate the details of the mission that has not yet happened on P4X639, and George Hammond decides to postpone the mission until he knows and SG-1 knows what's going on, and Daniel stops O'Neill. Of course, he does that most of the time. He stops him in the hallway afterward to ask about details of the ferns, which he is run into by Sergeant Siler. And a few minutes later, O'Neill and Teal'c both try to convince Hammond that they gotta go back to P4X639, and they both tell him that they're in perfect health and stuff like that. And actually, Hammond tells them that. And there was another unscheduled off-road activation, and once again, the time loop by the same ancient device over back at P4X639. So then, after the time loop was successful again for the second time, O'Neill's sitting down in the cafeteria eating his Fruit Loops with Sam and Daniel. What do you think? And basically O'Neill, I don't know if this is in the second scene or the third scene, but he gives like a face palm. And so, yeah. So then O'Neill and Teal'c both once again go to the briefing of P4X639 constructed by Major Carter, and O'Neill tries to convince the others that he knows what's gonna happen, and which of course SG-12 returns from the Stargate, and once again they are both examined by Dr. Janet Fraser, and Hammond walks in, and O'Neill tells him O'Neill basically stops Hammond from telling Fraser about something before he can postpone the mission. And this time, in the second time loop, O'Neill meets up with Daniel in the hallway again, which of course he is run into by Sergeant Siren. And so, and Daniel tries to convince O'Neill and Teal'c that the writings on the ancient device are a variation of ancient, and Teal'c and O'Neill both visit Hammond again in the second time loop, and they were both successful by convincing him that they gotta go back to P4X639. And so, when they both returned, Malachi was trying to start up the machine, the ancient machine that causes the time loop, and basically, O'Neill tells him that he needs to stop the machine or else they'll have another time loop. And Malachi refuses, and before they can continue on, there was another time loop again. So then, by the third time loop, O'Neill, once again for the third time in the time loop, eating his Fruit Loops, Daniel asks him the same question, what do you think? And after that, Teal'c and O'Neill both once again go to the briefing where Major Carter is instructing the briefing about P4X639, and they both try to explain that they're in the time loop and try to get out of being examined by Dr. Fraser. But, guess what? You know what happens next. You know exactly what happens next. They both get examined by Dr. Fraser again. So then, instead of meeting up with Daniel and then getting run into by Sergeant Siren, Daniel decides, O'Neill and Teal'c meet Daniel in his office. And they try to They were both trying to translate the ancient text on the ancient device. And so then, after that, Daniel tells the two that they can do whatever they want while in the time loop. And so, I'm going to be playing you a few clips of what I'm talking about.
Yeah. On the other hand, it's kind of an opportunity.
How's that?
Well, think about it. I mean, if you know in advance that everything is always going to go back to the way it was, then you could do anything for as long as you want without having to worry about consequences. Excuse me. Fine, sir.
Oh, yeah.
That'll play. How far is Alaris, anyway?
Several billion miles on you.
That's gotta be a record.
swing!
Sorry, sir, I didn't realize.
Excuse me, George.
Colonel, what are you doing out of uniform?
Handing you my resignation
Resigning? What for?
so I can do this.
What are you smiling at?
Nothing.
Daniel finished the translation and found out that P4X639 at one time was an ancient outpost, but it was wiped out by some unidentified disaster at some point in the past. And the ancients, in order to avoid doing that again, they built a time machine to go back and change the fate, but the machine never worked properly. So then, SG-1 returns to P4X639 to try to convince Malachi how to stop it. So then, after that, Malachi agrees with SG-1 that he needs to shut down the machine, and decides to shut it down before another time loop occurs. So then SG-1 was finally successful by telling Malachi to shut it down, and so he did. And so then they returned to the SGC. O'Neill, Carter, and Daniel are both at the cafeteria again, but this time O'Neill is not eating his Fruit Loops. He is eating oatmeal, and So then, after that, Daniel asks O'Neill if he ever did anything crazy without fear of consequences while trapped in loops. And he states that he asked that before, but instead of elaborating, he gives a long look at Carter and continues eating his oatmeal. And that's gonna be it for the commentary of Window of Opportunity. I hope you all enjoy that. I know it was a bit short. I thought it was going to be an hour long of commentary, but it was short. And so, yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for now. I want to thank you all for watching the anniversary episode of Jaffa Kree, where we celebrate 10 episodes of Jaffa Kree. So yeah, if you like the contact Stargate Podcast, you can contact me by email at stargatepodcastnetwork@gmail.com and on Twitter at Podcast Stargate. And we also established a phone number where you can call us and ask us a few questions. Like call in and ask a few questions about Stargate. The phone number is 805-419-5125. And you can call us if you want to call in and ask a few questions about Stargate and or the episodes. And so, yeah. And also we're on Skype at Stargate Podcast Network. I don't know if it's Stargate Podcast Network at gmail.com or something else, but yeah. So thank you all for watching the 10th episode of Jaffa Kree. I'll see you guys later on. Bye-bye.
Give up, Skeletor. You're finished.
Curse you, He-Man! You interfering imbecile!
Give us one good reason we shouldn't vanquish you to another dimension.
Okay, guys, hear me out. Switching to Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance?
Huh, he does make a point.
Yes.
I do like to save money.
Catch you on the flip, suckers!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Hi, I'm Christopher Judge, and I'm very excited to tell you about the launch of the new Stargate Command, September 20th. Sign up now, go to stargatecommand.co. Okay, what are you waiting for? Go.
extensions, no reversals, no new hearings. The Stargate will be buried, literally and figuratively.
Sir, if he was on board that replicator ship...
Carter, we don't know anything.
No, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
It's another everyday mission to save the galaxy, sir.
Indeed.
Godspeed.